Hello, my name is Gary Moyers. Thank you for joining me. No, this is not an episode of the Pitch Pipecast, even though we're on the Pipecast set right now. This is a video that's been requested by many people in this age of streaming and all the questions that surround how to pull that off. This video has been requested by the folks at the Acappella company and other folks trying to figure out how in the world do we get this whole streaming thing to work, and we need it now, please. So before I start out on all the details, before we get into the weeds on this, let me just show you a diagram, a homemade diagram, 4 steps to streaming it. In essence, there are just 4 basic steps. 4 steps to streaming. The first step is your content. Obviously, your content. But there are a couple of ways to do that. Your first one could be digital media. If you are 100% digital media, and that's what my church is, Broadway Church of Christ in Lubbock, Texas. We do everything, at this point at least, pre-recorded. So we're a total digital media stream. Another option might be mixed media. And mixed media is the combination of anything that's not totally 100% pre-produced. So your content is going to go down one of these 2 routes. This is your first step. What is your content? Is it digital or is it mixed? So let's say it's digital. Well, if it's 100% digital, all you got to do is throw it into your presentation software. That would be Proclaim, ProPresenter, PowerPoint, whatever you're using. That's your presentation software. If you're using digital media, that's where you go for step 2, straight through your software. If you're using mixed media, you're going to have some kind of video mixer. Just like you would have an audio mixer, it allows you to bring in multiple signals. In this case, it would be, I assume one would be your presentation software plus a camera, plus a live stream, plus audio source. Lots of options there if you have mixed media, but if you do that, you have to go through a video mixer. So step 2, if you're 100% digital media, you're just going through your software. If you're mixed media, you're going through a video mixer. That takes you to step 3. Both those lines go straight back to a streamer. That you got to have something that will deliver content, because the software is not going to do it, the video mixer is not going to do it. So they got to come together into a streamer of some sort, and the streamer will send it to your chosen platform. And we'll talk about the details on all 4 of these steps. And when you get confused, go back to these 4 steps, because this is the basics, okay? So we're going to look at 4 areas that comprise streaming. This is different than the 4 steps, okay? This is the 4 areas: content, production, delivery, and platform. So first off, we have content. And now there are hundreds of possibilities. I've talked to, between 50 and 60 churches in the past month, and every one of them is doing it differently. Whatever their content may be, where it's coming from, how they're handling it, none of them are the same. And that's fine, because every church is different and they have the opportunity to be able to express their church culture in the way they want to. So, but for this video, we're going to focus on praise and harmony content, because that's probably, most likely, why you're watching this. You've seen the amazing content available from Praise and Harmony, from the Acappella company that Keith and Melissa and others have put together. It's just fabulous stuff. And you're thinking, how do I use this? Okay, so we're going to focus on that. Here we are on the Acappella company music store. This is not Praise and Harmony TV. This is their actual store. And as at this point, there are 16, I believe, albums available in the Praise and Harmony line, and they're always working on more. If you count here, there's actual 17. That's because Righteous God is also available in Spanish, which is also a wonderful thing. But all 16 of these albums are mirrored on Praise and Harmony TV. So let's go there. So we're looking at the Praise and Harmony TV subscription page here. They offer a wonderful package during this self-isolation streaming madness that's going on. The church license annual subscription allows for streaming and rebroadcasting. It's only $23 a month, which is just almost a no-brainer for the churches in what's happening today. The cost is almost negligible. So there are 3 different licenses available. Let me just explain them to you quickly. The personal annual license is for exactly how it sounds. It's for an individual. You hop on, you watch all the shows you want, the hundreds of hours at this point of content that are on there and growing daily. They're working hard to add more and more all the time. That's only $13 a month, basically. If you do the church license, that allows for streaming at your church building. It's $28 a month. And that's at your building. That's for people to come to your worship services, and you're able to share the content that you have watched with a personal license, but share it with the whole church. Now, what they've just added is the church license annual. This allows you to do everything you could do with the church license, but it adds rebroadcasting. It allows you to take the stuff they've created and to broadcast it out in your stream under your name. So what's the difference in the church license and the church license annual? Well, the annual acts as a license. Licensing is very important. And as Christians, we need to do our best to obey the rules, obey the laws, and that is a law. You can't just rebroadcast something that belongs to someone else. A fee has to be paid. Now, if you were to do this on your own, to try and license every song that you put on your Sunday morning service, it would break you quickly. It's very expensive. But this allows you to do it, and the Acappella company covers the cost, which is absolutely wonderful. So now you could, with this streaming license, you could re-stream on your live stream as you're watching the stream coming from them. So that's rebroadcasting. Or you can purchase the individual songs and download them. They're like $10 per MPEG-4. So, like for instance, my church this past week had just 4 songs. And so I downloaded 4 songs, $40 worth.
Every single album has a section where you can download the digital video content. This contains 50 video files, 25 songs, training disc version, and full version for the low price of $28. That's around 60-something cents per video.
So why 2 separate fees? Why any fee at all? That's been asked of Melissa here in the past couple of weeks many times. The analogy she uses is the Amazon analogy. If you're a member of Amazon Prime, or have seen others who do that, you're paying a subscription fee to be able to stream a movie and watch it. But if you want to download it and keep it, you have to pay another fee. You have to purchase the movie and download it, because streaming and purchasing are 2 separate licenses. So the church annual license covers your ability to stream it out. The per song video purchase covers your downloading it and keeping it so that you can actually have content to do, unless you're able to restream it immediately as you're bringing it down from Praise and Harmony. I know that can be confusing, but there is a difference in license. But doing it like this, buying the church annual license and then downloading each song individually, that gets rid of all the gray area. You're totally within the law. There is a better deal, though, that I wasn't even aware of here till recently. Instead of purchasing each one of those songs individually for $10 a piece, you can buy full album DVDs. There's 16 albums, so you can buy a full album with MPEG-4s. It's got 50 training videos, 25 songs on a training disc, 25 songs in the full group version. The whole DVD is $28. You get all that. It's like 56 cents per song, which is a fabulous deal. So much cheaper than purchasing an individual song for $10. All they ask is that you remove your Sunday stream. This is after a week from social media. That's the only regulation, the only stipulation they put on this church annual streaming license. Is that once you've streamed your service, it can sit on Facebook for a week. After a week, pull it down. And that's not hard to do. Let me show you how that happens. So here we are on Facebook. This is our church's Facebook page, Bravo Church of Christ. And this is the broadcast that happened just this past Sunday, April 12th. So I need to set this to expire and to go away after a week to follow the wishes of the Acappella company. So when you're looking at your post here, all you have to do is go up to these three dots here, click on that, go down to Schedule Expiration. Open that up, set it to expire. Right now it's toggled off. Just toggle that on, and I want it to expire on the 19th, which really shouldn't be any big deal because, again, your new service will be up. Now, this tick box here for delete the post, this removes it and any insights will be gone. I don't necessarily think you have to delete the post because it gets rid of the stats. If you're trying to follow your stats, no one's going to be able to see it anyway, but if you delete it, then you won't be able to see your stats. So I'm going to click Save and not click that. Again, folks will not be able to see it past the 19th. And I want to just take a moment to point out the providential timing of what Praise and Harmony is doing. I don't know if you've thought about this or not. This is not something that they threw together at the last minute because they knew a virus was coming. That much is obvious. Keith called me, I think it was last October maybe, and he had this fabulous idea of creating the Netflix for a cappella Christian music. And I thought, man, Keith and his ideas. I quickly bought into what he was talking about, the idea he had. I don't think he had any idea of the importance of that urge to do this and the timing on this. Melissa was telling me just a couple of days ago that around December of this past year, he felt an overwhelming need to get this finished and get everything online. And so they redoubled their efforts and worked extremely hard to get all the videos finished. And it took them another month or so at least. Well, they're still working on it. Yeah. But it took them at least another month and a half to get all of the videos finished and online. And just about the time they finished, the news broke about the COVID-19 virus, and sort of the handwriting was on the wall. So the Lord provided the things that we would need for just such a time as this. And Keith and Melissa and the Acappella Company and Praise and Harmony TV, this small germ of an idea erupted into this massive solution that so many churches are needing. And I'm thankful that the Lord provided it just the right time. So we talked about content, production, delivery, and the platform. That's the four areas we're going to cover in this video. Let's go on to production. Not a lot to cover here. There are three kinds of production. I sort of touched on this as I was showing you the chart to begin with. First, there's 100% pre-produced. Every element is pre-recorded. It's a separate video, and you throw it into your presentation software. This is easy on delivery. A little extra work in prep. A lot extra work in prep. But it sure makes the Sunday a very easy thing because basically all you're doing is punching one button 8 or 9 times, and you're done. It's an easy delivery. You use ProPresenter, Proclaim, Easy Worship. The list goes on and on of the options you have for your presentation software. But you just load those videos in and send it off to where it needs to go, and it's very, very easy. Of course, this is where your downloads from Praise and Harmony TV are utilized. The thing is, even doing this as a pre-produced thing, the output of your presenter has to go somewhere. It's sent to your delivery platform or your streamer. That's either hardware or software. As you see here, and this is my my Proclaim service from last week, and you can see there are just 8 or 9 things, and so this by itself would go nowhere except the secondary screen. But I've got my secondary screen is on my stream platform, and I'll get into some details about that later. So another option is mixed medium. This is where you have some pre-recorded elements and some live. As I mentioned in that chart, it could be another stream that you're bringing in. It could be a camera that you're bringing in live, or multiple cameras. To do this, you're going to have some form of switcher, a video switcher, a video mixer. But we'll have more on this later. So the third option is 100% live. There's nothing pre-recorded. You're going by, kind of flying by wire. On that one, I would say, good luck. I know some churches are doing that, and if you can pull it off, man, God bless you, more power to you. Personally, right now for us, I like 100% pre-produced. It makes it very, very easy. I want to talk about delivery. We talked about content, production, delivery, and platform. This is delivery time. I just want to make a quick note. For delivery, use Ethernet. When it's time to send out your final signal, use Ethernet. Don't use Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi delivers packets. The pre-programmed video signals, it delivers packets differently than a regular Ethernet connection would. So if you use Wi-Fi, you are subject to dropouts, strange artifacts that come through on your final signal. So remember this, no Wi-Fi. I also want to note, this is where some of that flow chart that we talked about, this is where it starts doing some strange things. Some of the solutions start combining steps. You have step 2 and 3 together in some spots, step 3 and 4 and others. It just gets a little strange in some of the manufacturers who put stuff out. But again, go back to this chart if you ever get confused as to what's what. The first option for delivery would be a hardware option. And there are lots of hardware options, and the drawback to this is there's some considerable upfront cost if you're just starting on this. For instance, external streamers. That's just a box or some sort of a unit that sits off to the side, and you send your signal to that, and that sends it on. It's very, very good for a couple of things. It's easy to use, not a lot of confusion. But secondary, it takes a lot of the strain off your CPU. Of course, if you've got a fired up computer, that's not an issue to start with, probably. I use the Extron SMP 111. Actually, I have 2 of these things, which is crazy because it's a $5,000 box, but we have one in our auditorium that handles, the normal Sunday, and then I have a backup that I keep in case that one goes down. Right now, it sits in my office, and I use that full time, at least for the past 4 weeks, because I stream from my office. And this thing, it will do everything, including walk your dog. It doesn't walk your dog. My dog passed away. Anyway, another option on the other end of the spectrum, and I have one of these too, like the Teradek VidiU Pro. And this is designed for mobile streaming. It's just a very small box. You plug it in with HDMI, and then you connect it to your phone. It will take an Ethernet cable. You don't want to use Wi-Fi, but you can use your phone signal. So this is one option that I guess you could use Wi-Fi. Oh well. But it costs about $800. It's a lot cheaper than $500, but there are so many other options available. You can go to B&H Photo and search for streaming media solutions. As you can see, there are some right here. 6 pages of options for this. I'll include the link to the video servers with this video in the description. If you're another option other than external streamers is the software hardware combination. And again, there are lots of these. I'm just going to show you a couple. If you use a hardware video mixer, you're still going to need a delivery platform like the Extron, like the streamer. We use the Roland V4EX. It's a great video mixer, and it works just like you would with a regular audio mixer. This one has up to 4 different inputs, video inputs, and you just switch back and forth with that rocking switch. It's very nice. Of course, this cost about $1,700. Again, you got a little bit of an expense, but they're are several different kinds. You can go to B&H Photo again and just search for video mixers. They range from $300 to $30,000 and even way beyond that. But you can get a decent one for a decent price if you have any kind of budget at all for this. Roland and Blackmagic seem to be the front runners in the video mixer field now. Another option in the software hardware field, one that I wasn't aware of till recently, is Sling Studio. I'm really impressed with Sling Studio. I got some good friends who are using it with their churches, and it's really a unique solution. It's a media switcher and a stream pusher combined. You still need a streaming service to point to a platform. Okay, this will push out a signal to your service, but it won't send it straight to your final destination. I say that, they may have changed that. That could change again. They could be able to send it straight to YouTube or something like that now. But for the most part, you're going to need some sort of a service to get it out. We'll talk about those in just a minute. Sling Studio, as you see here, is a multi-camera live streaming solution. But when we come to cameras, a lot of folks just use iPhones, which of course as a camera is just as good as most other semi-professional cameras out there because they're able to record really high quality video source. Anyway, so with the Sling Studio, you basically have this media hub here, the Sling Studio hub. This is what will push out your signal to your streaming provider. You would use a camera link. This is how you plug your iPhone into this, and that would talk to the hub. And so you can use several of I think up to 10, maybe 9 or 10 different phones or camera sources you can use to go into your mixer. And your mixer is either a computer or even an iPad. And it allows you to do on-the-spot editing and mixing as you go, so that you have to go back and edit all your video sources back in together. It's just on-the-fly switching. And of course, you can send it to your streaming provider, or you can just record it on your flash drive or whatever. It's a great solution. I would send you to a video produced by Mission Road Church of Christ. That's Jake Jones. They use it there and are finding great success with it. The video is about 20 some odd minutes long, and the second half of it gets into the streaming service, but the first half of the video talks about Sling Studio, and it's just a really good explanation of how it works. So a third option in software hardware combos is the vMix. vMix is really more of a hybrid. It's a software-based production switcher. Let me just show you some examples of that real quick. As you can see, they've got this set up very nicely, software-based, just like you would have a video switcher. You got your monitors on both sides. You see what your inputs are, lower left. You see what your live monitor is. You see what the next one coming up is. It's really well done. Now, I say it's a hybrid because you'll need input converters, capture cards, the way to get your camera signal into the system. You're going to have some of this stuff going into your computer to be able to see and convert your video mix into something usable. The other problem is this is PC only. This is a DirectX 10 compatible program. So if you've got a Mac, you're right out. And but the thing is, vMix will stream to pretty much any platform you want. And that's kind of why it's a hybrid. It'll do your mixing for you, but it requires some hardware on the outside, but it will go ahead and send it out to your platform. And so the fourth possibility, and there are many possibilities, but the fourth illustration I'll show you is something called the Mevo. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. This is what the Mevo looks like. It's multiple camera shots out of one camera. It's just a little bitty, smaller than my fist. As a matter of fact, this is being filmed on a Mevo. I'm controlling it with my iPad here on my pitch pipe stage, set. So as you can see here, hopefully, you may get echo of, video. Yeah, you probably did. But It's very simple to control. I can just point and click and change. For instance, I'm going to zoom into my face right now just by pinching my fingers together. So now I'm going to switch down to my microphone. Boom, one click. So it allows you to do some really interesting video effects. It's basically a 4K recorder. Get it back out to where it should be. It's basically a 4K camera, and any zooming you do will get it down to 720. It films in 4K and outputs at 720, so there's no loss in resolution. The audio, the one drawback is that the audio is not that good. The audio you're hearing is coming through this RE320, not through the audio on the Mevo, because in all honesty, it's pretty rotten. But if you're using the Mevo for this situation, you wouldn't be using that mic anyway. You'd be using your pre-recorded audio mix somewhere else or from a mixer. Up until today, you weren't able to incorporate secondary media. I got a push on the software today, and that has changed. As of today, you can incorporate secondary media. This is one of those illustrations of people rapidly making changes to meet the changing needs of the COVID isolation streaming. So I check out the Mevo. It's pretty good. The next area of streamers will be just software only. And again, this is another one of those areas that's changing rapidly. I want to look at just 5 different options. And again, there are probably 100 of these things out there, but just 5 quick options for software streaming, software only. Restream.io is on the screen now. You can do up to 30 different social platforms to choose from, which is really nice. You can add your logo for customization. You can do call to actions and chat. Chat is very important to some churches to keep their membership involved in the service rather than sit and watch. They have them chatting and talking, which is really nice. Automated streaming of pre-recorded material, which is really nice. If you want to pre-record it, get it set up, and you can stay home with your family, and it will stream for you, which is really nice. So the prices here, as you can see, of course, this may change down the line as things go. This is mid-April of 2020. They got an introduction that's free. The standard is $16, or professional is $41 a month. And you can see what gets added for the professional. No branding on the Restream. You can do 3 links for multi-source streaming. Just a lot of really great options. I know several churches who are using Restream.io. I know some who are using a different service and have switched to Restream in the past couple of weeks. Another option is Castr, CASTR.io. It's very similar to Restream. It's got multi-platform. It's also has automated streaming. And it's just a little bit cheaper. Although some I've talked to said it wasn't as quite user-friendly as Restream.io was, but I think both will do similar things. And there are, again, 5 or 6 other in this exact vein who do all things very similar. Restream and Castr are just 2 possibilities. Another option in this field is OBS, Open Broadcaster Software. This has been, I think a lot of folks look at this and then they run screaming, quite honestly. It's it works. If you know how to work it, it works great. It's sort of a step up in technology. It offers more, but it's not near as user-friendly. The biggest use case for this is gamers. If you watch, there's a whole industry of YouTube gamers, people who get on YouTube and just broadcast themselves gaming, and they make a lot of money doing it because a ton of folks watch people playing games. I don't understand that, but a lot of folks do. So sort of the gamer community is what made OBS pretty big. It's open source software, which means it's free. Maybe make it worth trying if you want to, if you have some skills in in technology, but it's very similar to vMix in a lot of ways because you've got multiple inputs, and you can make your screen. It takes a couple of screens, obviously, but make your screen appear as whatever you want it to be, and you can just bring in an input and throw it onto that screen and broadcast that particular screen. So you can do, as long as you have the hardware to support it, you can do any number of cameras or presentation software or whatever. So that's open broadcasting. Another option in the software-only field, and very similar to OBS, is Ecamm Live. I say it's very similar. It's basically the same thing, but it's not open software, open source software. It's put out by a company with some R&D behind it, and it just makes it a lot easier to use, in all honesty. One drawback for some folks is that Ecamm is for Mac only. So if you've got a PC, you're right out. But it allows scheduling. You can, local recording, you can put it to your hard drive, your flash drive, whatever. Comments and reactions, people can talk about it. It's got support for several different kinds of cameras. You can bring in, screen sharing, picture-in-picture, pre-recorded stuff. So it's a full package offering. So check out Ecamm. And so last in the software streamers, I would mention Zoom. And you're probably quite familiar with Zoom, I would guess. You've probably been using it quite a bit in the past 4 weeks. I think most of America has. I wish I had known this was coming. I would have bought serious stock in Zoom. I did not, and I did not. So, as it may be. Zoom allows up to 100 users free, which if you're a small congregation, that might be an option you want to look at. In the early days, by early days I mean 3 weeks ago, there were security issues with Zoom. You probably heard of Zoom bombing. Even our college ministry here had an unfortunate accident with some nut who got on and decided he wanted to share some pornography. So, but that's been addressed. Most of the security issues are gone now. It's a pretty safe place to be because you have to have admin permission to get on and do pretty much anything, which is nice. There are different levels of you can do the free version or the pro version. We do pro because that gives you more of the admin choices, and it's not very expensive. So Zoom, if you're a smaller church, of course you can share your screen. So if you want to show a video or something, you can actually share your screen. It's not the best solution, but it is a solution. So we've looked at 3 different areas of streaming, which would be external streamers and software hardware combos, then software only. The 4th would be just direct, and that was pretty simple and straightforward. It's just like Facebook Live. You grab your iPhone, you go live on Facebook, and you start filming, and you do what you do. And then, hey, church, we're live. Here we are. And I know a lot of churches who are doing that because that's where their budget is. I would just encourage you to think about audio and lighting. A lot of times when that happens, you're getting a lot of room happening. So there are ways to mitigate that with audio. If you want to go on a sound system and get a better support for your audio, or a lot of the videos I've seen with just an iPhone alone, the lighting is pretty bad because you get shadows, you get backlighting, all kinds of stuff. So if you're going to do direct like that, consider lighting. Last but not least, I have droned on for a long time now, just trying to cover all this stuff for you. Last is platform. And again, there are tons of options. I think there are only 3 that are viable for what we're doing now. First is YouTube. That's an obvious choice. However you get there, YouTube is a great place. YouTube is owned by Google. So YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine in the world. So if you want to have your service and your stream is available to the Googles, YouTube is a great place to do it. Another option is Facebook. Go Facebook Live, not necessarily with with your phone, but you can use one of the streaming services and send your fully produced production straight to Facebook. And Facebook is highly used, especially by that middle-aged 40 and up at this point. It used to be for kids, now it's not. So the people who would be searching you out, who want to attend a service still, they're on Facebook. So that's a good option. A third option is Vimeo, and that's who we use. We love Vimeo. We have a pro account with them. I think it's a better product. It gives you a lot more options. One of which is a restreaming option. We restream. We stream to Vimeo, and then Vimeo turns around and puts it not only on our website where we want it to be, but also on Facebook and on YouTube and on LinkedIn. We don't use LinkedIn. And through RTMP if you want it. That's real-time messaging protocol. I said that because I want to appear intelligent. So Vimeo will get it out to almost every place you want it. It kind of does the same function as some of those software streaming services that will send it to multiple platforms at one time. So I think between those three, you're going to cover pretty much any aspect you want to, and Vimeo will allow you to do an embed on your website, whereas Facebook and YouTube won't. So that's the main reason we use Vimeo. So okay, that's all. If you get confused, and you will, I would suggest you go back and look at the 4 steps to streaming. I'll show it now. This will help you to decipher whatever tech you're looking at, because whatever you're looking at will fall under one or more of those steps. Again, some of those steps may be combined in some products, but if you keep these 4 steps in mind, you'll be able to decipher and figure out what it is each one of these pieces are. So good luck. I pray the Lord blesses you in your steps of online evangelism and community. It's not easy, but it's worth it, especially right now. If you have questions, please feel free to contact somebody else. Okay, so believe it or not, my flash drive on the Mevo filled up. I mean, I hit the end just as I finished making that very bad joke. I guess the Lord is trying to tell me I'm not that funny. So seriously, if you need help, I'll do my best to help you out. I don't know it all, but I'll try. My email address is garymoyers@vivaldi.net. So just shoot me an email and I'll help you out. Thanks again. God bless.
Hi, Melissa Lancaster here with Praise and Harmony TV. As more and more churches are implementing the online features, streaming their churches online, and many other elements, music and sheet music, there's a lot of questions that are coming up, and we're trying to field a lot of calls and trying to answer a lot of questions and trying to kind of all understand this thing together. And so I'm not a lawyer, but I wanted to make this brief video explaining a little bit about what I've kind of come to understand about streaming. So hang with me and I hope I can answer some questions. So I want to explain the difference between licenses. Some people think if they have one, it covers everything. I've downloaded this, now can I do anything I want with it? So I kind of want to put it in some of the terms that we already understand. Let's talk about Amazon Prime. Let's say you have a subscription to Amazon Prime and you can stream unlimited movies in your home to your device for, let's say, $8 or $9 a month or whatever it is. That license that you've paid for Amazon covers streaming these videos into your home. Now let's say you wanted to download one of those movies. You just love it so much, you watch it all the time. You want to download the MP4 so that you can put it on every device. Well, in order to do that, you have to pay for the physical download version of that movie, let's say, on Amazon Prime. And that might be like $9 per movie. Now let's say you wanted to rebroadcast this film. It's just a great film and you want to rebroadcast it to your whole church. Or maybe you're, let's say you're at a college and you want to have a movie night on the green where everybody gathers, and now you have to get a rebroadcasting license in order to show this recorded material that does not belong to you to other people. So we're really talking about 3 different licenses: streaming licenses, download licenses, and then rebroadcasting licenses. Obviously, the most expensive of these 3 would be rebroadcasting license. if, let's say, somebody wants to share a film or some kind of a music video or something publicly to a lot of people, the license for that is a lot different than you just downloading a file and having it in your own private home or whatever. And so the license to be able to get someone else's content that they've created and share it with a bunch of people is kind of a long process. And well, just to give you an example with the Acappella company in the past, let's say somebody said, ooh, we'd really love to use this song or this video to open our video podcast or to open our TV show. They would have to send a request, we'd have to fill out the paperwork, decide on the price for that one song, send it back to them. It's kind of a long, convoluted process. And we knew that during this time when so many churches are really wanting that rebroadcasting license, it was going to take a lot of paperwork and it was going to get really expensive. So we tried to decide as a ministry, what is the cheapest and easiest way that we could help churches get the content out to their congregations that they needed without them having to go through all these hoops and sign all these papers and everything. So basically, as a ministry, we decided to allow our praiseandharmony.tv church annual subscription to cover the licensing on all of our material for a year. So if you get that license, we're going to allow that to cover all the licenses of rebroadcasting our material. Now here's how that works. We're asking that it not be downloadable, because that's a totally different license. If you make something downloadable, you become the record label and then you're liable to the writers and the publishers and the companies that own the material. I wish that the Acappella company had all original content that we owned, but we don't. And we can't give away what's not ours to give. So let's say Michael W. Smith writes a song and he has this publishing company and this record label. Everyone owns a piece of this song. We license it from them and we record our version. And now you want to share our version. So in order to get our licenses, we're trying to make it as easy and simple and cheap as possible. So if you go get the church annual subscription on praiseandharmony.tv and put in your church name, we're going to allow that to cover anything you want to rebroadcast from the Acappella company for a year. Now that covers our portion of it. We're still asking that you claim your CCLI or Song Select or whatever you've used as a church for a while to claim those songs. You still need to continue to do that, but our portion will be covered. So the way this works is on Facebook and YouTube, there are little web bots that find audio files that are matched to what the Acappella company owns. And we will get an email that says this church or this person is rebroadcasting your licensed material. Is this okay? And they'll flag it and then it sends it to us. And we'll look through the list on Praise and Harmony TV. And if your church has obtained the license, it's okay to go as long as it's not downloadable and it's removed within a week. So that gives you time to share it with your full congregation and then remove the audio portion, the musical portion, so that the next week you can put up the next service. So that's what we're asking in order to cover the Acappella company material. There are thousands of videos and you have access to all of them for a year. So for the low price of $27, around $27 a month, you can stream unlimited content to your congregation, live streaming, or hosted for a week. Can't be downloadable, can't stay on past a week. As long as you cover that and you have the Praise and Harmony church streaming license, you're good to go. Now let's talk about downloads. Downloads is an entirely different category altogether. If you have a subscription to Apple Music, you can listen to unlimited music, or Spotify for $7, $8 a month or whatever it is. Now, if you want to download one song from iTunes or from Amazon or from Spotify or whatever, if you want to download that and have the physical MP3 on your device that's, shareable or movable between machines, then you have to pay like $1.29 per MP3, right? And that's because the licensing for a download is different than streaming. All the content creators, whether it's the songwriters, publishing companies, and all the different people that have a piece of that, they know that if something is downloaded, it's more readily available for sharing. So the copyright license involved in downloads are different than streaming songs and videos. So in that same way, Once you have our Praise and Harmony TV subscription license for your church, now you have the rights to share our material, but there's different ways to share it. You can share it, number one, through a switcher or an HDMI streaming box, which I'm going to show you some options here. This is some hardware you can use to help your church push out live streaming directly from Praise and Harmony TV. So if you have a couple of computers or you have a switcher, you can actually just go directly from Praise and Harmony TV. You can open up different music and different tabs, click from one song to the next, to the next. If that's too much and you don't have a tech team, say, at your church, or you don't have anyone who has these technical skills, then the next option we recommend is using downloads. Let's say your preacher films his sermon on his iPhone, and then he sends you that file. Now you've got the sermon file and you want to put some music on either side. We recommend you use the MP4s that you can download at the Acappella company store, acappella.org. Every single album has a section where you can download the digital video content. This contains 50 video files, 25 songs, training disc version, and full version for the low price of $28. That's around 60-something cents per video. And you will own all the MP4s. And with your praiseandharmony.tv church subscription license, you are now authorized to use these MP4s to edit into your material that you want to push out. And let's say you're using Final Cut Pro for an example. Let me just show you what it looks like. If you have a timeline and you want to drop in a song, you want to drop in a sermon, maybe put a countdown, however you want to build it, then you can render that one file and push it out on Facebook Live or YouTube streaming or on your website. And again, all we're asking is that you make it not downloadable and then it's not permanently hosted. So we're asking that you take it down when the next service is available. So we've covered streaming, licensing, rebroadcasting. I hope this video helps. If you still are confused and you need a little more guidance, feel free to email me. My email's below. You can also give me a call. Last but not least, I know there are some churches out there that don't have any kind of technical experience. This is new for so many people, and some people have no idea even where to start to go online and to create this content. So for some of these churches that need an extra amount of help, we have a tech team, a small tech team that we've put together that's willing to help you come up and create your service from scratch. Utilizing only a sermon that you send us from your preacher, we'll be able to piece together an entire service for your congregation at a very discounted price, basically enough to cover my tech team to help you out. If that's something you're interested in and you might need, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. My information is below. My name is Melissa. We're trying everything we can to support all the churches during this confusing time, and we hope that you will pray for us, and we are praying for you. Thank you so much for being dedicated to holding together the body of Christ. May God bless you.